Lama, I'm so sorry. Your microphone is muted. We don't hear you.
How about now? Okay, thank you. So, it's a small class today. There's Anna. Oh, I've got to get okay, interpretation, English, share, screen 2, share. There we go. Okay, I think that's everything in place. Lydia, if you would do us the honor of the mandala, please.
Of course. Вот огромная земля, наполненная ароматом благовоний, укрытая покрывалом из цветов. Великая гора, 4 континента, украшенные драгоценными камнями, солнцем и луной. В своем сознании я вижу их раем Будды и подношу их все тебе. И с этим деянием пусть каждое живое существо ощутит чистый мир. Идам гуру ратна мандала камнирьятаями.
And Svetlana, number 2 from Finland, if you'll do the refuge for us.
Драгоценный учитель, здравствуйте, все участники курса. Добрый вечер.
Hello, precious teacher. Hello, all participants.
Прибежище Будды, Дharмы, Санги, то просветления достичь. И силы добрых дел, таких как щедрость и других, позволит мне состояние Будды обрести на благо каждого живого существа. Иду в прибежище Будды, Дharмы, Санги, то просветления достичь. И силы добрых дел, таких как щедрость и других, позволит всем участникам курса к просветлению прийти на благо каждого живого существа. Иду в прибежище Будды, Дharмы, Санги, то просветление достичь. И силы добрых дел, таких как щедрость и других, позволит всем живым существам во всех мирах к просветлению прийти на благо каждого живого существа.
Thank you. Okay, let's do some rejoicing. That's always a great way to start the morning. Let's start with Daria. What do you have to rejoice in this morning, Daria?
Good morning, Lama Sumati. I rejoice. Today I tried to see people. They were unpleasant or interesting for me, like angels. And also on my way home today, I tried to watch my step so as not to step on any insect, I think insect.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, I tried.
How successful were you?
Yeah, it's a lot of little.
You can't help
Just-
stepping on them, but you don't try. If you're not doing it purposely, that's half the battle. Okay. Lydia, what do you have to rejoice in today, besides liking lime green shirts?
It's from Malaysia. I rejoice that we were doing yoga with Geshe Michael in Malaysia. So it was my first time when I did it with Geshe Michael. And it was easy, but it was very fun. And I think that Geshe Michael would like us to plant seeds. And after my return, I do yoga. I really enjoy doing yoga, and I did it today, and I did it yesterday. So something changed, and I rejoice about that.
Good. Well, that's part of the game. But spreading or being happy with what you're doing and have that ripen in the future to be an enjoyable environment. So good. Keep it up. Okay. Svetlana from Finland, what do you have to rejoice in?
Я хочу порадоваться тому, что
I'm
я
glad that
ежедневно читаю
I every
садану
day
и
read
построение
sadhana
21 белой тары,
and
и
21
каждый
Tara
раз
prayers,
вот раскрывается
and every
каждое
time
предложение, каждый абзац
it
по-новому, в
opens for
по-другому
me every
чувствительному
line,
сердцем
every
читаю. И это очень
sentence.
радует.
I put a lot of
И второе,
feelings in this reading. And the second,
Геше Майкл говорил
Geshe
на одном из
Michael
занятий,
said
что не
in one
бойтесь
of the
грязной
class
работы.
that
То
he
есть именно про такую ту работу, которая вам не нравится,
has
служение людям.
dirty work. It's
И
like a job which
я
you
работаю
don't
в
like
магазине
when you
женской одежды, и я
serve
очень
other people. And
высоковозрастная владелица магазина. Ей
I
88
work
лет.
in a
Ну и,
clothes
соответственно,
shop.
мне не всегда
My
нравится ее
boss, she is pretty
образ
old,
уборки, скажем так. И я всегда так думала, ну раз она не хочет
and I
чисто,
always
чтобы было, значит, это ее проблема.
and I don't
Сегодня
like
я
her look.
поняла, что это
And I was thinking like, no, if she
проявить себя.
didn't want,
И сегодня я
it's
более
okay. But today I decided that I have possibility to.
разбиралась и на складе, и коробочки
Oh no,
раскладывала.
no, it's not about
Вот это
clothes.
прям
It's
для меня сегодня был
about
инсайт. Мне кажется, что
cleaning
это все
and put in
я
order
думала
different
или
stuff.
сегодня
And
почему-то
today I
сделала.
was doing it by myself
Очень
to
так сердце
clean
ёкнуло.
and put some boxes in order, and it was very tender for me. I understood how it's important.
What exactly do you do again? I'm not clear.
Это магазин одежды, и в частности,
It's a
отдел
clothes
большой
shop.
женского нижнего белья.
It's section of underwear for
Oh,
women.
В начале.
got it. Okay. Clothing.
Да-да-да.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Мгм.
Well, you get out of your job what you put into it. So if you do your job with joy, you're going to get joy out of it. If you do your job with disdain, that's not going to be good.
Здесь даже работу я делаю в радости, но именно
Yes, I do my job with joy.
Good. That's you can't ask for anything more. Okay, Anna, how about you? What do you have to rejoice in? I'm not hearing you.
Oh, I'm here, dear Lama. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, about my rejoicing, I want to rejoice about my mom. She early in the morning went to the market and bought 5 kilograms of cucumbers, and she will preserve with cucumbers for winter. It's our traditional process to preserve vegetables for winter in jars. So she full of energy and enthusiastic. She's enthusiastic of this process, and I'm glad about her.
Well, good. So those cucumbers will be fun to eat because they will have been put away with love. Excellent. Svetlana.
Hello, dear Lama Sumati. Hello, everyone. Today I'd like to rejoice in my efforts be more pleasant for people. I tried to communicate with them. I tried to listen to them and support them. I was not like sitting only with alone and doing my stuff, but I tried to be more open-minded and open myself for conversations with my colleagues and with my neighbor recently. So I'm rejoicing in be more open for communications with people and dedicate that we can live in peaceful, harmonious, healthy world and society.
Very good. That's what's going to make it happen is by doing it yourself and rejoicing in it for the future. That's exactly right. Very good. Okay, who's left? Olga. Yeah. What do you have to rejoice in?
Я хочу порадоваться, что я
I want to
подтвердила семена
rejoice
соединения.
that I created
Завтра
seeds
приедет мама в
of
гости, я
connection.
купила
My
ей билет,
mom will come to me
и она завтра приедет
tomorrow.
к нам
I
в гости,
bought a ticket
и
for
что
you,
она будет заниматься любимым делом,
and she
находиться на природе, а не в городе, а в квартире.
she live in an
И
apartment,
еще второе,
but
хочу порадоваться,
when
что
she
мои
will be here
коллеги
with me, she will see nature, and I am glad of her. And also my colleagues got married, and I am very happy of them.
Very good. Where do you live?
В Московской области, под Москвой,
Near Moscow, Moscow
Россия.
region,
But not
Russia.
in Moscow. Are you in a house?
Я живу
I live
в городе, но у меня есть дача.
in town,
Мама приедет на дачу.
but my mom will come to our summer house.
Oh, okay. Well, I ask you to do this. Take a picture of her and send it to me or show it to us next class. Can you do that? Okay, good. So next class we'll get a picture. We'll get a report on your visit. Excellent. Okay, I have no idea how to pronounce the other name on the screen.
Natalia Mitina.
Natalia, are you there for rejoicing? Apparently not. Okay, well, no, I have to rejoice. Well, we had some interesting news yesterday. We are thinking of moving to Mexico, and we're going to move our household. And, oh, there's Natalia. Hi, Natalia. Do you have anything to rejoice in?
Здравствуйте, я только присоединилась.
Hello, I just joined. I'm glad to be here with you.
Do you have anything to rejoice in for us?
У меня есть одна радость, что я подобрала стрижонка маленького.
I am glad that I took a small bird from the street, and for now I'm growing this small bird up, and I'm like a mom for this small bird.
Oh, what kind of bird is it?
Oh, dear Lama, I need to translate it just a moment. I'm not a specialist in. Just a moment. Strish.
Sparrow?
Swift.
Swift. Oh,
Swift.
well, that's
Yes.
nice. Yeah, very nice. Okay, is Olga there? Okay, my turn. So we are thinking of going to Mexico, and we're getting ready to find out how to ship some of our household goods. And we found out that the permanent resident visa we have had a window of 6 months to ship our material, and that was we're way past that 6 months. So we cannot ship to Mexico anything from the United States. But if you have a visitor's resident visa, not resident, visitor visa, you can ship over a 2-year period. So we didn't know this. It was our fault. So it makes moving to Mexico a little bit different. We're not going to be able to move any of the household goods unless we have a friend do it for us, and we don't want to do that. So it's starting to gel. These are the things that gel the decision on where to move to if we move. So anyway, that could have been negative, and we just took it on and said, okay, we didn't know about it. And it closes that door, opens others. So that's my rejoicing. Oh, and I also have a printer that's going to be hard to move to wherever we're moving to for my computer. So I hope to learn tomorrow whether they'll refund my money and I can send it back to the printer and get a different one. So these are the kind of silly things that I'm rejoicing in because they've been on my mind quite a bit. So, okay. We're going to start class, and I'm going to admit that there are parts of this class I do not understand. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on them. It just means I don't understand it as clearly as I'd like. So when we get to those parts, I will share with you, and maybe we can figure out this stuff together. So here we go. Why are we studying Buddhist logic? To keep Buddhism alive in the world, to show our minds that we really don't perceive things the way they really are. And this is something I have to constantly remind myself. And what we think we see, what we experience day to day, we think are real, we think are self-existent, and they aren't. So by studying Buddhist logic, we will continue to show our minds we really don't perceive things the way they are, and keep that in mind more and more to where we develop the karma to see emptiness directly. So we study logic so we can read and understand the Majjhimika scriptures and serious teachings on the highest view of the concept of emptiness. We're very lucky to have these texts translated and presented in this and other classes. It's hard to teach and hard to study, but don't give up. Keep trying. Go back and visit the course 13 reading. As much as I don't like to mark up text in books, what I do with the printed text is I mark it up and make a note to come back to this or that particular thought. Each reading's middle part, the Rangchik, the Majjhimika position, be sure to read and try hard to understand this part. With the classes being so close together, instead of once a week, twice a week, this is difficult to do, but I do encourage you to try to do so. Pick a few of the kachikmas, the logical arguments, and digest them, ideally memorizing them and debating them with others. Again, this is difficult to do. And maybe what we need to do is, well, let me think about this. Maybe after this class, before we do course 14, we'll spend a little time trying to figure out these debate questions. Let me think about that. Remember that all this material has been used for centuries in this training on logic. So they do have value, even though perhaps it's hard to see at this moment. They seem clever, almost like tricks, but they're used to further understanding of emptiness. So they're not just semantics, they're not just words. They are leading you to the most important event of your life, the direct perception of emptiness. To make this point, Geshe Michael tells the story of an old Geshe living in Howell, who on his deathbed was reading his Dura text. Geshe Michael said to him, "You're dying. Why are you reading the 11-year-old class Dura text for 11-year-olds? That's why." The monk replied, "This is the most important thing for studying Madhyamaka. I want to be reading it in my next life as well. So if I'm reading it when I'm dying, that will be the karma, hopefully, that will project into my new life." So now we're going to go into relationships. This has nothing to do with personal relationships. This is relationships with words and stuff. Contradiction relationships is important for understanding emptiness and the direct perception of dependent origination. Contradiction. When two objects are in contradiction to each other. Relationship, when two objects share a relationship, or the opposite of contradiction. So relationship and contradiction are mutually exclusive. Contradiction. What makes two things contradictory? Separate and distinct. They must be separate things and they must exist. We cannot use a non-existent thing because there would only be one thing there. So you can't separate and distinct something if it's with something that doesn't exist. Geshe Michael and Lobsang Chunzin, different names for the same thing, they're not separate. Can't make a contradiction out of that. Geshe Michael and a pen are distinct and separate. They are contradictory. Some of this seems pretty obvious, and then we start getting into debate, and it isn't quite as obvious as we thought. No one thing can be both things at the same time. It can't be A and B at the same time. So we're looking at the contradiction between two objects that must be separate and distinct, and there is no other thing that can be both objects at the same time. That's what it means to be in a contradictory, to be contradictory. Two kinds of contradictions. Two things are mutually exclusive. A changing thing is mutually exclusive to an unchanging thing. There is nothing that is both a changing thing and an unchanging thing. Are the colors red and blue contradictory? Yes. But our flag, or the Russian flag, red, white, and blue, it cannot be all red, all white, and all blue at the same time. So those are in contradiction. So they share a relationship of contradiction. So what? Why is that important? When there is a mutually exclusive relationship, it means when you are perceiving one of them, it automatically excludes the perception of the other. For example, water pitcher and everything that is not a water pitcher. This covers everything in the universe. Hot or cold. There are things that are neither hot or cold, but there is nothing that is both. That seems pretty obvious. Well, maybe not. Well, let's keep going. Unchanging thing and changing thing. Direct mutual exclusion. One totally excludes the other. You can't be unchanging and changing at the same time. Okay, that's pretty obvious. Changing and unchanging and working thing. Indirect mutually exclusive. Because a working thing is a subset of changing thing, so it's indirect mutually exclusive. The thing which is made is a changing thing, and a changing thing is contradictory to an unchanging thing. Indirect because it takes mental process to come to the contradiction. You have to remember that a working thing is a changing thing, and a changing thing is in contradiction to an unchanging thing. So far, okay, this makes pretty good sense to me. Working, non-working. A working thing and a non-working thing are direct mutually exclusive. A working thing, a changing thing, and a thing which is made of all refer to the same, and a thing which is made, all refer to the same material set of stuff, but the mental image each term brings to mind is distinct for each. I'm not quite sure why that's important. Here, using synonym changes the relationship from direct to indirect because our dunshi, our mental image for each word, is slightly different, so it takes some conceptual steps to reach the exclusion relationship. So changing thing is there's a subset of changing things called working things or functioning things. So you have to think to yourself, a functioning thing is a made thing, and a made thing is a changing thing, and a changing thing is doesn't have is in contradiction to an unchanging thing. Contradiction where two things are diametrically opposed. Cultural, owls and crows, they dislike each other so much they can't sit on the same branch together. They cannot exist. Scriptural, death meditation will eventually eliminate laziness. Meditating on your rotting innards will eliminate desire for sense object. That's the death meditation we don't normally do, along with the one about how frightening it is. One acts against the continued existence of the other thing. Emptiness and seeing things as self-existent are mutually exclusive in that they cannot exist in one mind in the same instance. But they're diametrically opposed in the sense that over time, the developing understanding of emptiness will eventually remove the belief in self-existent things. Mutually exclusive is immediate. All red cannot be all blue. The diametrically opposed contradiction is useful because can one state of mind be grasping to an object as self-existent and at the same time be understanding the object's emptiness? No. There has to be one or the other. Cannot directly understand a thing's emptiness and at the same time be grasping to its self-existence. So the more we understand emptiness, the less we believe in self-existence. And once we see the direct perception of emptiness, have the direct perception of emptiness, then we'll know that things are not self-existent, even though we still seem to think they are. Because we get past the path of habituation gets us thinking and more that getting used to the fact that things aren't self-existent to the point where on the ninth bhumi level, the subtle obstacle to omniscience, this deep down thought that things are self-existent, is erased, and that's when we become a Buddha. Existing things and non-existing things are an example of mutually exclusive. Existing things and non-existing things are an example of mutually exclusive, yes or no. Non-existing things aren't things, so they cannot have a relationship, contradictory or otherwise. In the Drepung Dura, they go on to diametrically opposed contradictions into direct and indirect. Direct. Light and darkness. Turning on a light, the light encounters darkness and dispels it. This is called a direct, diametrically opposed, contradictory relationship. At this point, my mind's starting to spin because we have so many definitions. As compared to a mutually exclusive one, due to the sense of needing to turn on the light for it to dispel the darkness. So, light and dark, you need to turn on light to dispel the darkness. So it's a direct, diametrically opposed, contradictory relationship versus a mutually exclusive one. Indirect. Huge clouds of smoke in a place and a sensation of cold in that same place. This is an indirect, diametrically opposed contradiction, since billows of smoke tell you the place is on fire, even though you do not see the fire or feel its heat. But you know there cannot be coldness if there is a fire. Everything that exists must eventually be involved in a contradiction. How? For me to see my arm as flesh and bone excludes that I could see it as an arm of light. I can see it as an arm of light if I have the karma ripened for it, but right now I can't. Two kinds of relationships. So we talked about contradictory. Now we're talking about relationships. A relationship of identity, a changing thing, and a thing that is made. Two-way relationship. Since you can say a thing that is made is a changing thing, not all relationships or identity are two-way. For instance, car and motor vehicle. A car is a motor vehicle, but not all motor vehicles are cars. So you have the two items, and you're looking to see what their relationship is. This subset is all cars, and this is motor vehicles. Motor vehicles are trucks, buses, vans, taxis, personal cars, limousines are all part of motor vehicles. So to say that, so if you took away motor vehicles, you take away cars. If you take away cars, you'd be left with all the other motor vehicles. So it changes. So it's a two-way relationship. Excuse me. It's a one-way relationship because a car is a motor vehicle, but a motor vehicle is all motor vehicles are not cars. What would be a two-way relationship? I have to think about that. All cars. No, to be a Mustang is to be a car, but not all cars are Mustangs. Whoops, what happened there? I have no idea. Let's go to where, oh, there I am. That was interesting. Welcome to my day. Kisha Michael notes that these examples in Tibetan are difficult because the syntax is backwards. In English, the subject, verb, object. In Tibetan, is subject, object, verb. So in contradictory relationships, discussion is tough to translate properly. I'm so glad he's doing it, not me. Thing being related comes second. Thing relating to comes first, depending on which language you're in. Okay, here's one that we'll spend a little time on. Can we say being all existing things is contradictory to being a changing thing? Being all existing things is contradictory to be a changing thing. Well, all existing things is composed of all existing things here in this box can be decided to be either changing or unchanging. So to say all existing things is a changing thing leaves out the group unchanging. So no, we can't say that. It is contradictory to being a changing thing. It's a subset of being all existing things, but being all existing things isn't only to be a changing thing. Being a changing thing is not contradictory to being existing things. So it's a one-way relationship. Because a changing thing is part of the subset of existing things, whereas existing things has other parts to it besides just changing things. The water pitcher and all the water pitcher is not a one-way relationship there. According to the logic school, when you perceive a pen, you are perceiving the exclusion of all the pen is not. And that's probably how search engines work. Search engines work to get rid of everything to filter out everything that's not the term you're looking for. So I think if you could see a search engine work, it would probably be saying, here's this phrase. I need to see anywhere that phrase exists, and to do that, I need to eliminate every phrase that doesn't contain what I'm looking for. And as you perceive all the pen is not, you are perceiving the exclusion of all that is not. Okay, this is a tough one. You are perceiving the exclusion of all that is not the exclusion of all the pen that is not. That's confusing. Then as you perceive all the pen is not, so you get rid of everything the pen isn't, you are perceiving the exclusion of all that is not. Of all that is not the exclusion of all the pen. I don't get that one. Then as you perceive all the pen is not, so everything the pen is not, you are perceiving the exclusion of all the pen, of all that is not the exclusion of all the pen is. No, I think there's a syntax error there. The pen and the reverse of the pen's opposite are nominally and conceptually distinct. They are the same material stuff, but conceived of through different processes. And that's the logic school. Madhyamika Prasangika does not agree with that. The relationship of a thing and a thing which it came from. This is cause and effect, and it's one way. This is interesting. I think this is perhaps the most important thing we're going to talk about, in my opinion. A working thing in the moment after it and the original working thing. So the original working thing causes the working thing in the moment after it? No, because the original working thing hasn't made the thing that's in the future, so there's nothing in the future to be connected to. You cannot say the original working thing shares a relationship with the working thing of a moment after, because at the time of the original working thing, the future working thing does not yet exist and never has existed. So, what's the relationship in cause and effect? Pen 1 is not related to the instance of pen 2, but pen 2 is related to the instance of pen 1, because without pen 1, there couldn't be pen 2. So it's related, it's a one-way relationship in the back direction. The direction's not important, it's the fact that it's a one-way relationship. If it was two-way, then the pen 1 would be related to pen 2, and pen 2 would be related to pen 1. Pen of moment 2 shares a relationship of identity with pen of moment 1, but the reverse is not true. Pen of moment 1 does not share a relationship with the pen of moment 2 because moment 2 has yet to occur. And when it does occur, this means that the moment of pen 1 can't be called the cause of pen 2 yet. And there's the key, yet. Because once pen 1 turns into pen 2, then it is the cause for pen 2. But until it does that, it's not related. So these are the subtle differences that we need to be thinking about when we're identifying things. In your future study, these concepts will be important, so know where to find this material and get more and more familiar with it. Three criteria of a relationship of identity. To be one thing is to automatically be another. They must be separate things conceptually. If one thing ceases to exist, the other must cease to exist as well. If motor vehicles cease to exist, then so would cars if they have a relationship of identity. So we've covered two types of correct reasons. Well, let's go back just for a minute. I think I missed something. Okay, so motor vehicles cease to exist, and so would cars if they have a relationship of identity. They must be separate things conceptually. Cars and all motor vehicles are separate. If one thing ceases to exist, the other, that's that criteria. So to be one thing is automatically to be another. To be a motor vehicle, that's interesting. To be a motor vehicle, is that automatically to be a car? No. Three criteria for this. One thing is automatically to be another. To be a car is automatically to be a motor vehicle. So that's a one-way relationship. That's okay. They must be separate things conceptually. Yes, motor vehicles are a large group. Cars are a small group, but cars are within motor vehicles. If one thing ceases, if motor vehicles cease, the other must cease to exist as well. That'd be a one-way relationship, because if all cars cease to exist, not all motor vehicles cease to exist. So that's how to use the relationship issues, one-way or two-way. Whoops. We've covered two types of correct reasons, by nature and by cause and effect. A correct reason to prove the absence of something. This is really important, and this is really confusing to me. So I'm going to try my best, and let's see if we can do it. Consider this room. If someone here doubted the existence of hungry ghosts, then there could be no one in this room who remembered hungry ghosts they saw. I think this is an incorrect reason in this syllogism. So I think what the better one is this one. Consider this room. No one here has had a valid perception of a hungry ghost because everyone doubts that they exist. Now that makes sense to me. If you doubt they exist, you probably haven't had a valid perception of a hungry ghost. If we can prove that no one has the cause to know about hungry ghosts, then that proves that no one knows about hungry ghosts. No one could have a valid memory of one if they've never perceived one. So why is that important? Consider us here. It would be improper to say there are hungry ghosts if no one here had a valid perception of one. We are denying the propriety of saying hungry ghosts exist if we don't know it, because we haven't seen one. If we never had a valid perception of one, we could not say they exist. It's against the rules of logic. But we do it all the time. We think we know something about someone, perhaps their motivation for doing something, and we react from that mistake. This is application for sharing the ideas of Buddhism with others in the sense of being sure that what we claim comes from good authority, and then be able to support it logically. We cannot just say, Lord Buddha said so, unless others believe Lord Buddha to be a valid authority. So to say to your Catholic friends, karma and emptiness makes sense because Lord Buddha said so, they'll look at you and go, well, we don't know anything about Lord Buddha. You have to do better than that. So before you go about trying to prove anything in Buddhism to a non-Buddhist, make sure you know a good set of logical proofs that you can bring their mindset into the why what you're saying is true. We cannot assert something until we have a valid perception of it, direct, logical, or scriptural. We cannot assert something until we've had a valid perception, direct, logical, or scriptural. The better we get at Buddhist logic, the better we realize how little we know about others and how much we assume, and then act poorly towards them based on perception of these assumptions. Two kinds of reasons to prove an absence. A correct reason to prove an absence of something that is difficult for another person to perceive. An example, a hungry ghost to a non-Buddhist. How can we perceive the absence or presence of something that the other person cannot perceive? Consider this person before me. I cannot say they are not a Buddha because I have not had a valid perception about it. So 1 and 3, consider this person before me because I've not had a valid perception about it. That one I'm not quite sure about. 3, because I've not had a valid perception about it, I cannot say they're not a Buddha. That's true. If I say they are a Buddha, then and I've had a valid perception of it, that's true. So it seems to me that's a perfectly good logical statement. I've had a valid perception of the body, but I do not perceive that body's mind, do not know if they've had direction perception of emptiness or omniscient or not. That is why we study all of this. As noted in the first, okay, so I can't say because 1 and 3 don't match, that's not a valid logical proof. Even though 3 and 2 work and not 2, not 3 work. 1 does not equal 3, it doesn't work, so that's not a valid proof. See, that's why we're studying this. This is why we study all of this. As we noted in the first class, if you're not me or someone like me, you can judge. If you are me or someone like me, you can judge another. But if you're not like me, you mustn't judge another, or you will fall into the lowest hells. We absolutely must convince ourselves that it is irrational to assume that we know another's mind or motivation for what they do. We must be properly skeptical towards what we perceive so that we stop assuming things illogically about others. A correct reason to prove the absence of something which the other person can perceive. Consider the top of this pen. There is no car there because there is no Chevy there. Well, that's not right because there could be a Mustang there and there'd be a car there. It just doesn't happen to be a Chevy. Do the 3 relationships. The reason that proves the absence of something that is easy to perceive. We can look at the pen and see that there is or is not a car there. Like Muhammad Ali, the great boxing champion, you should try to confuse and distract. These are debating tactics. This is where I completely lost interest in debate. Geshe Michael tells the story of his first class with Ken Rinpoche. He was late and he was very nervous. At the end of class, Ken Rinpoche asks him to wait and goes into the kitchen. Finally, GMR gets up the courage to go in and expects to receive a grilling over being late. Ken Rinpoche asks if he saw the fight, Muhammad fight the night before. Geshe Michael, startled, says no. And judging the boxer, says the fighting is not good. You get paid to beat up people. Ken Rinpoche says, oh, no. He does not want to hurt anyone. He's just good at what he does. I don't see how that makes it okay to beat on people. This is their first conversation. I imagine Geshe Michael was totally lost at that point. When debating your opponent, do not see it as winning or losing. See it as being good at working with you and their minds through logic. The point is to help your opponent to be able to focus his mind clearly in the middle of chaos so he can keep in mind his complicated responses. By practicing keeping your concentration, you'll be able to focus clearly in future situations. You can use the following format to review the class lessons that will speed up your learning. Attacker, there are no different types of contradictions. Yes, that's right. Oh, this is all mixed up. There are no different types of contradictions. That's not correct. Are you telling me there are divisions of contradictions? Yes. Show me them. Mutually exclusive contradictions, diametrically opposed contradictions. Are you telling me these are two different types of contradictions? Yes. What do you say? What did you say? So you go, what? You're stalling. So you can get your response ready. The attacker can heckle you with, come on, show me something. Give me an answer already. The crowd often says, you should be ashamed of that answer. Give me the moment of this, the statement of necessity. Say something. You can say you just traveled in a big circular reason. Consider this water pitcher. The water pitcher exists because it's an unchanging thing. Well, this isn't true. So let's investigate this. Consider this water pitcher. The water pitcher exists because it's an unchanging thing. Consider the water pitcher because it's an unchanging thing. It isn't an unchanging thing, so 1 does not equal 3. So right there you know that it's not a valid logical statement. Are you telling me that water pitchers are not unchanging things? Yes, that's what I said. Why not? Because water pitchers are changing things. You telling me water pitchers are changing things? Yes. Why not? Because water pitchers are changing things. You telling me water pitchers are changing things? That's what I said. In the debate, there's the skill to get an opponent distracted and confused, then drive home the truth. Your motivation is not to be competitive or unkind. It's not even to beat your opponent. Rather, it is to help them get a place of focusing their minds clearly in the midst of chaos. This will be used later in meditation when concentration is difficult. So what to get out of this class? That's a good question. I think what you need to do, and what I need to do, is go back and review this constantly over the next month and see if I can make this make more sense. I thought I understood it because I've taught this before, but apparently between the last time I taught it and this time, I don't understand it. And I have found that happens. Don't get discouraged when that happens. You'll find sometimes you read something and a month later you look at it again and you go, I don't understand. So you have to research it and you have to put it on the back burner until you do understand. So let's dedicate this confusion. I do believe the rest of the classes are pretty, well, that's not true. The next one coming up is a little bit confusing too. If you're looking forward to the logic course to be over, so am I. Okay. Through this merit may I soon attain the enlightened state of Guru Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma taught by the Buddhas, always increase. Okay, so today's Thursday, the weekend. Oh, we're going to spend the weekend getting ready for Armenia. That is going to be fun. Does anybody know if Armenia has weather, storms and stuff in the summer? Like we have, I don't know. I'll have to ask Gabby. That's going to be fun. Even if I can't taste anything. So, I did have something funny happen. We bought I bought maple sugar cookies from Canada for my wife's kali sadhana she did 2 nights ago. Thinking to myself, I'm looking forward to tasting maple flavored cookies. I don't taste anything anymore. So when I bit into the cookie, I went, oops. I thought that was pretty funny. But curry flavored ice cream, maybe that reminds me, I have to bring some curry with me. Yes, I have to. I'm looking forward to that. Anna, you haven't had curry flavored ice cream, have you? I don't hear you. I still don't hear you.
Dear Lama, we don't have curry ice cream. It's not in our tradition. We have vanilla, strawberry, maybe with nuts.
Are you coming to Armenia?
For now, I'm not planning such trip.
Okay, well, next when we meet, I will make sure that you get some curry flavored ice cream. Lydia and Svetlana 1 know what I'm talking about. Daria knows what I'm talking about. Okay, take care. We'll see you on Monday, and hopefully class will be a little more straightforward. Love you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Holy Lama. Please stay with us until our enlightenment. Please stay.
Thank you so much, dear Lama Sumati. Please keep teaching us till our total enlightenment.
I'll do my best. Bye-bye.